Good morning, YouTube. I am the City Prepper. Thank you again for following. Thank you again for subscribing. Thank you for coming to my page. I really do appreciate the support. Today's video is more of a why I do what I do. Why am I a self-reliant individual? Why am I preparing for the worst? It all started 2000, right before 2000, with the Y2K, this whole big thing of Y2K is going to be the end of the world. And I remember being a kid hearing my uncle, my father, my aunts, everybody was talking around the table, talking about how this one's using the water in the swimming pool, this one's got the food, this one's got this, who's got the weapons. And did it scare me a little bit? Yes, it did. And I remember going with my mother to the can sale, and I never did that. And my mother was a little curious to why I wanted to go to the can sale, and I started buying beef Aroni, Chef Boyardee, tuna, potatoes, things I thought we were going to need in a end-of-the-world situation. I started putting the little sterno she had from a party we had earlier aside, plastic sheeting, and sleeping bags all in this little area downstairs in my basement, that aside for our family, to make sure that we were going to be okay, to make sure that we were prepared. And it kind of grew from there. I've always been an outdoors person, always been somebody who goes camping on the regular. On a good summer, I've probably gone upstate camping, I don't know, roughly 20 times. I love being outdoors. I love being in the wilderness. And I was with that mindset, I was always prepared. I had to be prepared. You have to have everything you're going to need on you, plus the things you might not necessarily need right then and there, but might need in the future. God forbid you got stuck. God forbid you had a mechanical injury, broke your leg, and you were going to be stuck on the trail. You needed to have things to make sure your survival rate was successful. So I always had the mindset of preparing and being self-reliant. And it wasn't until, again, I keep referencing Hurricane Sandy, where I thought the things I would have or need in place weren't adequate. I bought a power inverter that was going to be powered by the car, and I thought that it was going to be enough to power a heater, a refrigerator, lights, television, every comfort, modern comfort that the normal civilized human being has. It wasn't adequate. And it was right then and there I realized in order to be fully self-reliant, I needed to practice. I needed to hone my skills, whether it was the urban setting, the suburban setting, and the rural setting. It was really at that point where I realized donating my time to help people more affected by Hurricane Sandy than me, people whose houses were completely flooded because they were by the waterfront, and going in, there was two types of people. There was a type of people who were absolutely helpless, and they didn't want to leave their homes because the minute they left their homes, they were getting looted and vandalized and robbed of everything left that they had. And then there were the type of people that were banding together. There's one block in particular, I don't remember the name of the block, but it was right near the disaster area that I had taken a group of volunteers to go hand out food and medical supplies, because if I heard of the fact that people were looting and all that and the people were afraid to leave, I went to go bring them supplies, and they were all banding together. They had a little communal area where they'd have all their cleaning supplies, all their food, and all their medical supplies. And one person was in charge of it, and was in charge that everybody got equal distribution of that. And that right then and there made me realize, in order to be fully self-reliant, that I absolutely had to practice. I had to practice my skills. I had to hone my skills. I had to keep on top of my skills. I had to pay attention to my world around me. And there's certain things that really, really make you think that there's a catastrophe around the door, around the corner, that there's these ever-changing weather. The weather's all over the place. 1 minute it's 70 degrees out, and next minute it's 60 degrees out, and then it's 0 below and below. There's the gold and silver standard, which is, in my opinion, being artificially deflated because it costs $24 something cents to mine 1 ounce of silver. It's trading for below $18. The market, in my opinion, is artificially inflated. You have things like Facebook, Snapchat, things that are irrelevant. There's social media that are raising the skyrocket of the market, and in my opinion, it's artificially inflated. You have a lot of things in this world that, in my opinion, are a perfect storm for a without rule of law situation. You have the current situation with our country where you have both sides are just bitter and angry. The Republicans, the conservatives versus the liberals, Democrats. And it's so volatile. It's something that I've never seen before, something that I don't remember ever reading about. And I believe being a self-reliant individual, being part of the preparing community, it's something that it's a skill that needs to be honed in on more than ever. I've been doing more so of late, more of the question videos, the what if videos, the rhetorical question videos, and I'm going to get back to more of the tutorial videos because I think it's beneficial to you, the viewer. I think it's something that we all need to start paying attention to, the world around us, on how self-reliance should be everybody's goal. Complete self-reliance. I know in the summertime I make it a passion of mine to garden, and I try to garden enough food that my family is going to be intaking for the week. That does two things. Teaches you to be self-reliant. Actually, three things. Teaches you to be self-reliant. It teaches you to, now you're going to have more money to spend other places. And three, you're knowing what you're putting into your body. You know there's no pesticides. You know it is completely organic, which is good for you, which is good for your family. And it's a very important lesson to be self-reliant. And throughout the course of my channel, starting beginning of March until whenever it is I decide to stop making videos, I will be teaching you things that I take passion in, and I will be teaching you things that I think is important, as well as majority of the self-reliant community finds to be important, how to do. Again, I make it a goal of mine daily to practice some sort of self-reliance, as well as to read up or to watch a video on another area I might not be as good in. And I think it's important to you as the viewer to honestly pay attention. Now's the time. If you follow anything in the history books, if you follow anything that history has taught us, it's very unclear waters right now. It's a very, for lack of a better term, perfect storm. There's things like Venezuela where a cheeseburger is going for $170, well, I don't know their money standard, but $170 US. And that's hyperinflation. Hyperinflation's here, but it's on a smaller scale. Perfect example, Valentine's Day cards. I went to purchase a couple of Valentine's Day cards. It was $5 for one card. That's absolutely ridiculous for a piece of paper. Going to the store, I remember when I was in college, $200 had me about 2 weeks worth of food. $200 now is maybe a week, 5 days worth of food for a family of 3, for a family of 2. It's not enough. The salaries aren't going up. The purchasing power is going down. People have to realize it. Wake up. Start buying in bulk. Start trading for things. Start growing your own food. Start, if you live near a water source where there's adequate seafood, shellfish, start learning how to crab, start fishing. Start being self-reliant. You shouldn't have to worry about going to the store and buying something when you can grow it, or you can catch it, you can hunt it. Start learning how to make beef jerky. Start learning how to dehydrate things. It's one of my things. over the past, I'd say 2 years, I learned how to make beef jerky. I learned how to, from start to finish, and I'll make a video on that. How to season it, how to dehydrate it, and how to store it. These are the things you need to learn, because like I said, there's going to come a point in time where the time to learn these things it's going to be null and void. It's going to have to be, you're going to act on what you know. You're always going to go by your lowest form of training. You got to remember that. If you don't know it now, there might be come a time where you're not going to know it. And you either have to rely on what you do know, or you have to rely on somebody else you're with to show you how to do it. Again, not to be repetitive, I became a self-reliant individual because I realized at the end of the day, there's going to be no one there to help you but you. Yeah, you might have your family members, your little community, whatever you want to refer to it as, but at the end of the day, there's going to be nobody out there to help you but you. You think that the local governments, the police, the fire department, the EMS are going to be able to help you during a catastrophe? I'm telling you right now, they're not going to be. They're going to be dealing with other things at that point. Whatever you have going on, for instance, your house is getting looted, take a number, because there's going to be 100 other people's houses getting looted. Police are going to be very scattered, very, very scattered. It's going to be scattered very thin. So are fire personnel, so are EMS. And don't even think about going to an emergency room. You're going to either catch an infection being there, or you're going to be waiting there for days. So learn things. Pay attention. Try to figure it out on your own. Be self-reliant. Again, I started becoming self-reliant at a very young age because I realized that if a catastrophe happened, I have to take care of myself. I have to take care of my family. I have to take care of my significant others. And throughout a course of time, I honed my skills. By no means am I saying I'm an expert in everything. But at the end of the day, I have enough knowledge that I'm able to survive and I'm able to thrive. Yeah, that should be every self-reliant individual's goal, is to survive and thrive. You don't want to be one of those people waiting in line for hours, days to get a little bit of food. Because if you're self-reliant and you're on top of your things, you're going to have your food. You're going to have cash at hand. Just because there's a bank that's only letting you have $100 a day and you're waiting 12 hours plus online. That alone is a dangerous situation because you're going to have a lot of pissed off people. It's going to be a very volatile situation. Again, I'm telling you, I lived through it. Hurricane Sandy, they had mobile, I believe it was Chase. Chase had mobile ATMs coming and people were waiting. It was getting dangerous. Is that something you want to do? You might be prepared, whether it's you're a karate expert, you're former military, you're a police officer, you're allowed to legally own a firearm, you have an everyday carry knife, you might be prepared for it. But do you want your significant other, you want your children, you want your parents, you want your siblings waiting on those lines? They might not prepare for it. What if somebody comes and robs them? Well, now what? Just think. That's all I ask. Ask yourself, why are you a self-reliant individual? Why are you prepping? Why are you here? Why are you watching my channel? I know I've talked in length tonight about the importance of why I became a self-reliant individual, and I want you to ask yourself the same thing. I'm not telling you that you're going to learn everything overnight, but start reading, start watching videos, look up things on the internet. Go to a park and learn how to do things. Go in your backyard and learn how to do things. Take a drive upstate to learn how to do things. Just simply camping in the woods is a start. It's teaching you how to be away from technology. That's the problem with today's civilization. We don't know. Everything's consumed by technology. What do people do in the morning? They wake up, buy an alarm clock. They wake up, they look at their phones, they watch television, and they listen to the radio. When I'll tell you this much, when the grid's down, when there's no electricity, there's none of that. You don't have your television, your cell phone. If it's still charged, you're going to preserve it because you're going to need that cell phone. You're not going to have the comforts of technology. You're not going to have any modern comforts. These are the things you have to start thinking about. Why am I prepping? Why am I self-reliant? What is the potential that can happen in my area? And my area is known for floods. My area is known for hurricanes. My area is known for tornadoes. These are the things you should be thinking about and tailoring how you're preparing, how you're being self-reliant to that. Again, pay attention to the news. I personally don't watch so much of the mainstream media. I tend to more follow the Drudge Report, the alternative media, the YouTube channels, and form my own opinion. I'm not one of those tinfoil hat wearing guys that think that aliens are coming or any of that. But at the same time, I like to see what other people's spectrum is on how they prepare. Again, that's my backstory on why I prepare. Think, why are you preparing? You have a family you need to take care of. You have kids. You have a significant other. You have elderly parents. These are things you have to think about why you're doing it. What makes you tick? Really sit there and reflect. Think about it. Is this something I want to take as a hobby? Or is this something I want to take on as a passion? To me, it's a passion. Every day, whether it's I get a new item or I read up something, this is a passion for me. It drives me. I want to be the most self-reliant person I can be. That is my goal, to be 100% self-reliant. I'll eventually get there. Again, I still rely on modern comforts, car, heat, air conditioning. But one day I will be 100% self-reliant. I'm not there yet, pretty close. Again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Thank you so much for the new subscribers I have. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for the thumbs up. Please pass along my message. Again, I can't stress it enough. If you have any questions, you have any comments, you have any concerns about what I'm talking about, please comment. I get back to you and address it as quick as I can. And I will show you anything you want to learn, or if you would like me to teach you differently or cover it more specifically, I could do that. Absolutely, I could tailor to you, the self-reliant individual, you, the prepper. Okay, thank you very much. Have a great day, and stay tuned for further.